we're going to be cutting over to the first stream table. We have Andre and his Flesh Eater Courts, and then Frank and his Zeech Change Host, I think. I apologize if I get some of these names wrong. I am still getting into the competitive side of AoS myself, so I may be having to go to the players to get some of the names of some of their stuff correct. So we are. It will go off on a table, so it is hard to get off. But yeah, it is an endless spell. So what happens at that point? Let's say I cast it, you set it up on a wood. So as Frank go ahead and gets set up here, we're going to transition to the stream. Okay, so here we go. Zeech is deploying. I will go ahead and get you an update on what we are doing here with the missions and such. Oh, I guess we have not announced what mission is actually.
It was shifting objectives? Yes, I think that's the one.
Okay, so we are playing shifting objectives. So there will be 3 objectives in the center of the table, and then after every turn, the primary objective will shift to one of those 3 objectives that is adjacent to the primary. So it'll be 1 point for holding an objective and 3 points for holding the primary, correct? Every turn. So the center of the table will be hotly contested on this one. Let me go ahead and make sure. All right. I want to make sure I got the chat pulled up so that my no viewers at the moment can talk to me. Let me make sure I get out of my player's way here. We got a couple of beautifully painted armies showing up. 3 Lords of Change, which are just fantastic blues. And then the always creepy Flesh Eater Courts. And their zombie dragons.
That's your 30 or 30?
The deploying for shifting objectives is going to be like a basic 12 inches from the long table edges. Again, this is round 1, so we're just kind of getting started here. Under your tray. I believe the round time will probably officially start at 9 o'clock. We're just getting started a little early here.
Yeah. Shifting objectives is the one where at the start of every battle round you roll a dice. On a 1, 2, that one's going to be the bonus points. 3, 4, 5, 6. And then at the start of the next battle round, you'll do the same.
Are we doing 3-hour rounds today?
2.5.
2.5-hour rounds. So at 2.5-hour rounds. So this round will be done at 11:30. So I forgot to put the clock up on the thing. So I will keep you informed as to how much time is left in the round as we go. So a couple of the other tables that we got going on, let me go look at the other armies. Looks like we have some Moon Clan Grots showing up. So that's fun. We have some ghosts with the I'm blanking on the name of that army at the moment. Night Haunt. We got a couple of our newer players playing on this one. It's a very appropriate table. It is a cemetery table. So that's the other game we got going on over here. And then our third and final game looks like we have a couple of Chaos Ascendant. So we've got some Lord of Change. We've got a couple of Horned Rats. We've got some Plague Bearers. we got all kinds of fun on that one. And then Seraphon, we got some fun lizards, some dinosaurs.
It's whoever officially sets up on the board.
This will be an interesting one, and they're playing on a green fields mat with some dwarven mine to fight over. I actually really like this table. I'll post pictures of it on the Facebook page. If you are not a member of the AoS Facebook page, it's Peculiar AoS for Peculiar Games and Hobbies. It's a great page. It's where you can schedule your games and come in and play with these fine folks that are playing today. But let's get back to the stream table, as it looks like a lot of units are finally getting deployed here. All right, Frank is rolling his fate dice now. So, if I understand correctly, these are dice he will be able to sub in later in the game with his magical Zeech powers. All right, and so it begins. Okay, Andre has seeded first turn, so Zeech will have first turn.
So actually what you'll want to do is you'll want to place your loon sign down first. Only within your deployment zone, so it has to be within 12 inches. Or going over here. Yeah, this match is played across the table. I remember that. I got that back. And then what you'll want to do is keep a unit of those holding within 12 inches of your hand. But this has to go down first. So you can set this down wherever you want along the edge, it's wholly within that 12 inches. You'll actually, since it's a 60-man unit, you would place all 60 of them.
10-man unit?
Yeah.
Brian, is this the set you got commissioned?
Yeah, but that's one of the two sets. The other one's the lava set on the lava table.
Oh, there's a lava table?
Yeah. The one on screen because it looks really cool.
I haven't played this army in a while.
Okay.
Look at how far they can summon out. Is it 12 inches or 9?
I don't know. I haven't played.
That's a chaos horse table, my friend.
It's a fire slayer's table too.
So I should know this.
I'll only let you have a table because you beat Mark Taylor.
Way long ago.
9 inches.
Whoever wins the last match gets the right.
Good thing I played this.
That's why I love this system. Yeah, working 3D6 is the name of the site, so. And then that's Old World Reborn.
So, we got some more pink horrors coming onto the table here.
Yeah, right over there.
Okay, good. I was worried.
No, you could.
Surely. You've been in this box for like 3 months.
20 boards or 20 boards.
Why else would I take you there?
It's 12 inches to the side. There you go. It's an animated movement.
Mm-hmm. So I believe the trick in this mission is to try to control a side of the board and then hope that the major objective stays on your side of the board as you go. That way, you may not be able to hold all 3 objectives, but you can hopefully hold the one that it continues to bounce back and forth to, because it won't just go to a third one randomly. It will bounce adjacent to the current one. So now that it is
I'm just going to take a quick snapshot here.
We'll make that the.
Okay, cool.
Looks beautiful.
Makes it a lot
He's going to go ahead and cast Boom. He's going to steal it from him. Goes off on a 12 or 13, or you try 9. You don't have to see me, but you have to have range.
That's why I did it for you.
It's going to be all the way on the right side of the screen where they're currently rolling is going to be the primary objective. So that right side is going to be a hotly contested side now because that will most likely be where the primary objective stays. There in the middle for the first couple turns. So it'll be interesting to see how these armies react because both of them like to bring stuff in later in the game. So this could get brutal in the later stages of the game rather than an upfront bloodbath.
Move off on the 13.
This is the phase of the game where Zeech really shines. He's going to be casting all of his spells, and he has quite the array that he can bring out. He's got some endless spells. He's got some summoning that he can do. He's got all kinds of stuff. His army really lives and dies by this phase. Oh, I apologize. My camera is freaking out. I forgot to open up the.
Yeah, go ahead. I don't want to do it on him to be cheating at this point. I'm going to go ahead and do it on
There we go. That should. There, we got some better resolution. I apologize, folks. I forgot to get some of the settings. I'm still new to Twitch, so bear with me as we get this rolling here.
So that only goes off on a 7. We'll make that 9. Actually, does it go off?
So.
Alright. He's going to go ahead and cast.
I'm surprised it took them so long to cancel Gen Con. They just sold out this past week. That's still
Suggestion? Through the portal.
Casting some more powers here. He's deciding whether he wants to spend his fate dice to make this a cast. It looks like he decided against it. He did not get the cast. So even with the reroll, he didn't get his spell off. So, looks like he's going to cast Arcane Shield on his Keeper of Secrets. Or not Keeper of Secrets, but that's 40k, sorry folks. But his, oh my gosh, I've been calling him the same thing all day, but lost it there. Lord of Change, I think is what it's called. So now he is shielded.
Next one he'll go ahead and cast Treason. Might as well do it on your
So at the start of once you guys are all fully set up, you'll set that in a corner.
We'll go ahead and do treason on your king over there.
Starting in round
So he is.
Fails, a boom. 7, this refers to 5, so it goes off on a 7. This says D3 mortal wounds.
So he cast a spell dealing D3 mortal wounds to Andre's king.
That's not actually deployed yet. It looks like you are fully deployed.
So he's unable to unbind it. So it does do 3 damage. So it's an early strike for Zeech.
that yours?
Yeah.
I knew it.
Oop. You're good.
Well, no, and what I
Okay,
do.
so 3 mortal wounds, you say?
Yep.
I need 6.
So Andre's 6 up, feel no pain. He does save 1, so he takes 2 mortal wounds.
I'm going to shoot into the abyss. I'm going to do Arcane Bolt. Alright, so it goes off on 8.
Who's casting it?
So it just goes off. One actual wizard left, and then I got just a bunch of bullshit. He's going to do. Straight line, so he's just going to cast flame into the abyss. It's not happening again. 7.
So you'll notice that he's tracking how many spells he gets successfully off. This is part of what Zeech does. For him to summon in later in the game, he needs his points that he's tracking there to bring stuff in. So every successful cast that he gets is giving him points that he can summon onto the board later. I know you can't see it off the table, but he has a substantial amount of large things that he's planning on bringing on later. So again, Zeech literally lives and dies by their magic.
No, I got one more.
Okay.
Now that you guys are all set up.
I really suck you magic for not doing anything but casting magic. Alright, now I'll take my movement.
Alright, so all that was the end of his casting. Now he is starting his turn proper in the movement phase. That was the hero phase.
Make sure you roll, and it'll be on his card. Make sure you at the start of your turn roll the necessary dice because you can actually increase your command points pretty easily. So, because you'll roll a dice for him, and if it's going to be a 4+, you'll roll 3 dice for him. You have a battalion. You get one at the start of your turn, so you'll go to 2. And then you'll roll a dice for him, and 3 dice for him. And on 4+, you will get extra command points. So you could get up to 5 in the heart. You will start with 2 command points because you have 2 battalions. Which is why one of the reasons I have your army set up that way. So, and then at the start of your turn, you'll get a 3rd command point. That's one that that was the one if I was doing running war bug in my army, I was gonna run that.
Yeah, so it's crucial in the movement phase that he keeps all of his auras and spellcasting abilities within range of his people. So you got to be a very technical mover. Looks like he's advancing his pink horrors up to take this left-hand objective. I apologize if I get the left and right confused. Sometimes it's actually backwards from the way I'm viewing, so.
The other left.
So it looks like currently pink horrors are holding the center and the left objective. So we have a very aggressive push up to the center early on in the game.
No.
I'll fix for the guys that beat you. There you go. I put a few little, extra armor plates. They'll be good. They missed out on the little icon. They could have done the little icon.
All right, so in my movement phase, I'll go spin.
For the first two moves.
Go down to 3.
Although I don't do the time where I roll.
So at the end of the movement phase, it appears that Zeech is going to be summoning in another Lord of Change into the center of the table. So this is what I was talking about. Every successful cast that he gets off, he earns points. He can then spend those points to summon in his extra demons and stuff. So this is a power move for that center table point with 2 Lords of Change right up there in the middle.
Well, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's my turn.
So at the end of the turn, it looks like Zeech is going to go up 2 points, or at the end of his turn. So we're going into Andre's turn, bottom of round 1.
Yeah, he's house warrior, or will 4
What we will do is,
command points.
the one that is turned face you,
I have 4 command points. I have a battalion, start, and start, and further 2 plus plus 4.
The one that's facing you.
I'm gonna cast Ferocious Hunger on him.
So this one worth 3 points in this first turn.
No, it doesn't go off. I need a 5.
Still want to know if I.
And because they're a battalion, you can re-roll that.
It's 30 inches in my right.
That's something you'll have to remember.
Believe so, yes.
Are we good to start?
You are good to start, yes. I'm going to quick this move to those 2 we can move out of the gun. I'll try and click a couple there.
He's gonna cast his second spell, Mighty Small Shroud on them. Goes off with an 8.
What's that do?
Basically, I roll
The game's not done
3
yet?
dice.
Come on, what the hell?
Any 5 pluses that suffers a mortal wound.
Go ahead and, before, did you do all your dice rolling to see if you got any extra command points? I only got 1. You're up to what, 3 now?
Yeah. Deny with a 12.
It happens. Dice lows, they say that.
He's got 1 deny left.
First things first, we're gonna motion, on both of these guys, one of their spells and summon.
He's gonna cast Unholy Vitality under the spell. 5 plus, so I get basically his normal. 5 plus and then 6 plus if I'm near a hero. But he's
Oh,
all a
that's
hero.
still nothing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, he gets a 6 plus skill innately, and then this is add an extra 5 plus to that.
goes off with a 5.
Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and deny with Big Beaver. Gone. Stop the default.
So it looks like his spell has been denied there. And I'm going to go ahead and
Well, 2 different, oh no, I can't.
get you a new view here. Alright, so there we go. It's the bottom of round 1.
Alright, he's gonna,
So you can see that.
you know what? He's gonna cast Mystic Shield on himself. Goes off, I think, with a 6? Yes.
Sorry for the on-the-fly editing here, folks. Like I said, I'm still a little bit new to this, so we're going to keep you updated with as much information as I possibly can as we go. But, yeah, bottom of round 1. Again, we got 2.5-hour rounds. This one started at 9, so we should be done at 11:30. So, brand new into the round if you're just joining us. I believe we're still in Andre's hero phase, so that's it for his hero phase. We're moving into the movement phase for Andre here with his Flesh Eater Courts.
They're gonna run.
He's able to shoot through 60 of them, you just roll a dice on a 4 plus 30 of them, come back out of that.
So Andre is running towards the primary objective.
So I would roll the dice and run them.
Looks like he's going to get a toe in on it over there.
They're not shooting anything, so you know,
So as a reminder, it is 1 point each for the non-primary objectives. It is 3 points for the primary objective. So just having majority of control will not suffice in this game. You really do want to have that primary objective.
Did they advance?
No, just normal movement, so they have 2-inch move extra. So they're just normal move. Their normal move is.
I think it's 6.
Actually, 8.
So both armies' little gribblies are going after this objective here on the left side. So now we have an aggressive move on this side of the table with Andre's big mini there, making sure that they stay outside the minimum move distance so that you can
Oh, perfect, thank you.
do your charge. So if you're used to watching 40K, you have to stay outside of 1 inch. In Age of Sigmar, you have to stay outside of 3 inches, so that there is no auto making a charge with just a basic dice roll. I apologize if I make a bunch of 40K references. 40K is my primary game. You'll see that most of my streams have been 40K, not AoS, so that's where a lot of my rules references come from.
I will pay for the first 2. If you get more, then that's your guys' thing. That's starting your next turn. It doesn't move. You can put it in that corner, but don't knock it off the table. It's starting your next turn. Buy a few drinks for the day, and you're on tap for anything extra. Drink coupons for you.
Our host today, Brian McWhort, is coming around the table and handing out drink tickets for everybody, so you can get yourself some sodas. It's one of the perks of coming to one of our events. We usually have little perks that we hand out to whether it be at my 40K tournaments. There's usually free donuts in the morning. Brian usually has door prizes, drink tickets that he hands out. It's just part of the fun of coming to a tournament at Peculiar Games and Hobbies.
No, that's command. That's turned on.
So it appears that Andre is bringing on a rather large blob of his little gribblies. I don't know exactly what they are.
Do they have a character coming with them that gives them the +1 attack?
The Courtrai, yeah.
The one big one?
Yeah, on the 32 millimeter.
So I'm imagining, okay, yeah, so he's bringing on a big old blob of crypt ghouls in the backfield over there. That will be disruptive. So, like I said earlier, both of these armies rely heavily on summoning to bring their things onto the table, because you notice Andre didn't start with a whole lot on the table. So in this scenario, summoning is actually really helpful. It allows you to bring in your stuff where you need it, when you need it, because that primary objective does move. So both armies are going to utilize this ability as much as possible today. So his ghouls moved in.
It's not good enough for this one. If that's what you were trying to cast it with.
Now I believe these are crypt ghasts and crypt flayers. Sorry. And then their leader, the Varghul.
It'll say uncomfortable.
What's this one?
I know Reachmore gets free stuff.
Shooting phase. You can shoot in this group?
There's no penalty for shooting.
Yours is more, I'm gonna get in your face.
Well, just let you know, any shooting, this guy, anything we can successfully survive with, he's got the eye of each. Okay? So, what's their bravery?
All demons have bravery.
Okay, so he's gonna shoot in here?
They can.
So Andre has moved on to a shooting phase, and he doesn't have a strong shooting phase, but you know, it's worth taking the shots. So now we got some ghouls charging. He got an 11-inch charge, so he's going to be able to get in and hopefully get all the way around some pink horrors here.
There's no one at the end of this.
No.
So yeah, he's going to kind of wrap around the end here and work on this objective.
Makes more of them?
Pink horrors become blue. And then they become red.
And now the big guy is charging in.
They will. They're going to go up in price when the general. Or at least, right now we're 200.
They're 200.
They should maybe be at least 50.
And that was a very short charge, so he makes it in. We're going to make the charge with the big guy in the middle here. There's another 11-inch charge, so now he's got options.
Can you put a dice in the right? So you guys actually fit. Get in there. That's on one end. So you can fit in there with your base. So I'll go ahead and have to use my baby reroll to reroll that two. Wait, are you going to reroll your dice? You decide first. Because once I modify it, it can't be rerolled. So you decide first. Are you using your command point to reroll?
Oh, no, I made the.
Right. But once I use my baby reroll, you can't reroll.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I'm debating if I want to move him there, though. That's the thing.
Well, before you decide where you want to move them, you're not going to reroll?
No.
So I'm going to go ahead and change your 6 to a 1.
So he's going to use some of his ability to take his 11-inch charge down to a 6-inch charge.
So I did that right? He has to decide reroll before I use the second.
Which means he can't jump over those pink horrors anymore. He now has to just charge the ones in front of him.
Thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
So prizes are being awarded at the moment. So just because of the nature of this tournament, we were only able to have 6 people in the store to keep us under our social distancing limits. So the prize support has been divided evenly amongst the players. So it's, again, another nice little perk. Everybody gets a prize today. We're just happy to be out rolling dice.
That's a game winner right there.
So It appears while I was talking about prizes, something terribly interesting just happened and I missed it, so I apologize.
That guy's for a charge of level 40.
Oh, so those ghouls in the back did fail their
And I
charge
mean, if you use the command point to reroll,
on
you can't make it. 'Cause it'll
on a double one, so
One of the numbers was a 4 or 5.
that's
Right.
a terrible misfortune because, like I said, that would have been a very disruptive blob in the back there,
I'm not gonna make it.
and
You can try to get this one, but I mean, you can
And that
try
is-
and roll it, you'll make it, you don't, if you make it, you get
Assign
half
the
the
power
charge.
on gift the change.
yeah, that is just an unfortunate event there.
Only within 12 or 12 inches.
That mixed with the charge in the middle, that was a change from an 11 to a 6.
Alright, do some assaults.
Well,
Looks like Andre is really going to hit some insignificant units. Not that any kill is a bad kill, it's just would have liked to have taken out some bigger stuff in this early round. Or at least get into his spellcasters, which is what I believe those little ghouls in the back were wanting to do, was disrupt Zeech's spellcasters, which, again, Zeech's bread and butter is the spells. So those pink horrors are going to be -1 to hit. So Andre's rolling a big ol' handful of dice. Needs 5s to hit, 4s to wound. So we got 2 out of the first roll. For 3 total hits. And 1 wound. They get their 6-up feel no pain. Or 6-up save and then a 6-up feel no pain. So 1 goes through. It's 1 pink horror down, and the nightmare of pink horrors is they don't just go down, they turn into blue horrors.
Well, they are. Of the spells for your army, the
5
spider
can
one
swing there, and 1 to
viable. It serves as a nice way to
pile in.
that can also be changed to your opponent and stuff, so
1, 2, 3,
that's why it's
5.
advantageous.
So it looks like 5 going into the ghouls and then 5 going into the big dragon. So
So this is now in the combat phase, so you would attack first, and he'll be able to respond.
No wound? Or 1 wound?
so he gets
The dragon?
Yep.
And take this minus
No,
one?
no, 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 no. I don't do any of that negative stuff.
So, how many wounds?
so the dragon takes 1 hit and 1 wound,
Wounds to the ghoul.
and no wounds to the ghouls. So the pink horrors don't do very much in return there. So now we cycle back to Andre for his next attack.
-1 to hit.
And
6 is still go off because it's unmodified.
again a -1 to hit. So let's see what this dragon can do. This, let me call it by its actual name here, the Aberrant Ghoul King.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, okay. You're right. Yep.
Wound, -2.
Just get my fill of their pain.
So -2 rend goes by his save,
No.
and
Once, because I've rolled damage.
Oh,
D6. So don't worry about that. So they go through and then we'll roll damage.
so these are d6 damage each, so 4 wounds on his feel no pain. So he takes 3 wounds.
He's on his last tier, but he's just as strong now as he was at his full health. Now you can attack back.
Go ahead and keep rolling.
The claws. Fours and threes.
So now he's attacking with his claws. It's 3 hits and 2 wounds at -1.
I just get
He's got a, he has an innate ability of -1 saving as well.
So now he deals 5 more wounds that go straight through to his feel no pain. So Rick will have to do 5 6-up to save those.
This is normally 3 as well, but it. Right.
It's been a minute.
Five wounds total.
So that's 5 more wounds to the pink horrors, which kills a few more, and that's going to be a handful more blues that come out.
That one's got 3 hits, and the 6 goes through, I believe, doesn't it? Can I feel anything on that, or it might be on it? You'll get a 4-up save anyways.
I know, but can I get the thing from negate?
Are you sure that's not what this guy?
Actually, well, okay, this one doesn't, he doesn't have anything special on the 6s. I thought he did. But,
So, back down, reroll everything.
yeah. You get 1 through, and he doesn't
Hit him, it's like in,
1 4-up.
Hellboy. One,
Yes.
when you die once, 2 shall appear.
It's
Yeah.
a wall. It's a magic wall. That's what it is.
Yeah, pink horrors are not terribly dangerous in combat, but they do bog you down quite a bit.
You get on 2s normally?
No, 3s and 3s.
Remember your -1 hit.
4 is still hit. I need 4s and 3s.
So 4s to hit and 3s to wound.
Wounds at -1.
So 2 more.
I got 2. How much damage, please? 1 reroll. 1 damage?
And so looks like we got 2 more blue horrors coming off the table there.
Nope, 2.
Oh, and then that brings in the brimstones.
Do you attack again, or do I swing those?
Those are gonna be the ones.
So,
2 attacks.
and we go back to Frank. So his pink horrors are gonna, or his now blue horrors and brimstones are gonna be able to attack.
They're too far away. They only have 1 inch reach. They're outside 1 inch. I didn't pile in.
So,
I just want to make sure.
not
They have to be deployed right there. It's like, and I want to stay on the objective. I'm not
So-
going to kill you with hand-to-hand attacks anyway.
so
As few of my guys swinging, it just speeds the game up for me.
We're going to attack because they're already on that.
So now we're finishing up the last attack on the other side here, on that left side of the table. I'm gonna swing into these pinks with his other ghoul, King.
One, so I get to reroll. I think I get 3 roll this.
Sounds right, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'll flip.
I can reroll this. 6 more wounds.
So he does 6 mortal wounds. Those pink horrors will still get their 6 up, feel no pain.
4?
So he does kill 4 of them. And that will again summon in a bunch of blues as they divide and divide.
One dies, 2 shall appear. Never played
But this is the inevitable have to chew through them to get to the important bits. You have to get through his front lines. All right. So that was a good attack there at the first go to get those 6 more wounds in.
One goes through at -1.
So 1 wound comes through at -1.
So good. 1 damage, right?
Yes.
Yep.
So nothing goes through on that one. So 3 more go through.
How much damage?
1 apiece.
So there's 3 more wounds. And 3 more go through. So that's 6 more blue horrors. So now Andre is trying to decide whether he wants to spend command points to fight again, to chew through some more of these annoying little blobs. Says the each player that says that they're not that annoying, but I think Andre would disagree with you. So Andre does decide to spend the command point to fight again.
Basically, 6 mortal wounds. This goes through at I can see my wounds at -2.
So
Okay. I'm not gonna roll my field of pains because only pink horse have it. And it's gonna go through it now. So I'm just gonna take 6 wounds.
And I gotta roll another d6.
Okay.
12 wounds all day.
So he does 12 wounds altogether. This was a big attack there. So it kills the last remaining pink horror and summons in 2 more blues. And then he'll have to remove 11 blue horrors. So that was a very good attack on Andre's part. That will clear a substantial amount of that blob out.
I couldn't get Ferocious Hunger off.
Yeah.
If I would have got Ferocious Hunger, I got more attacks.
Yeah. So Andre's hero phase just didn't go as planned, so he didn't get some of his abilities off that would have allowed him to hit much harder. Again, if you've watched some of the other streams that I've had poor Andre on, his dice rolls just
Fails me.
go poor on him at the most inconvenient of times, but that is a dice game.
Now, 4 skeleton claws, 5s and 3s.
So and that was the jaws for the mortal wounds. Now we're going to the claws.
1 claw goes through. And wounds at -1.
Okay, we got 1 wound. Goes through.
Just 1 wound.
And kills 1 more blue horror.
Now, 1 4s and 3s. 1 goes through -1.
So 1 more goes through. And because he's killing the blues doesn't mean he's done yet, because the brimstones are coming in. But this time, only 1 brimstone for each blue. There's, well, 1 base of brimstones. There's 2 brimstones on each base.
So leadership here, these guys are fearless because that's his thing. Here, you have 2 left, and it means you have lost by 8. So leadership, I'll go ahead and spend 2, make your leadership 10, and automatically back.
So on the left side of the board, they're fearless because of a leader that he's got there. On the center objective, he's fearless because he spent some of his dice to make them fearless. So now we are going to the top of round 2. And
Yeah, I'm gonna get double turn. I have to.
so Andre needs to.
Oh, roll to see where this goes.
So Andre is taking.
1 to 2, 3 to 4, 5 to 6.
Andre is taking the initiative, and he is going to have the double turn. So.
He's gonna cast Ferocious Hunger on him. Oh, you know what? No. Ferocious Hunger here.
Because that's your attack?
Yeah. So I need a 6 to 10 go up, and an 8.
So at the end of the turn, Andre held the primary for 3 points, and Frank held the other 2.
2 extra attacks.
So at the top of round 2, Andre is ahead 3 to 2, and is now in his hero phase. So did he get the Ferocious Hunger off on his Ghoul King? He did get his Ferocious Hunger off, so that's good. That was something that he was desperately missing.
And Shroud on this group. 5 or better. Nope.
So he tried to cast a Shroud, and it appears that it did not go off.
He's going to cast on himself. Monstrous Vigor, 5 or better.
So
8.
So do you plus 1 attack?
No, that is
You feel no pain?
basically,
5 plus skill.
No, but basically, regardless of his wound total, he's still treated at 0.
So Monstrous Vigor is going to try to be unbound because it was successfully cast.
Stop the turn.
That's it?
No, that's a 1. He takes this and the little number becomes a big number too.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay, that's fine.
And Monstrous Vigor has been unbound. Casting spells around Zeech can be frustrating at times because he has so many sorcerers and so many special rules to unbind and
He's going to cast
cast.
Holy Vitality on himself.
That gives him +1 attack, right?
Oh, no, that gives him basically
The feel no pain?
+5 plus feel no pain.
Okay.
So now he's trying to get a 5 Feel No Pain on his leftmost dragon here.
Last tonight?
And then
10?
it gets denied. Charges 2. So now that is it for Andre's hero phase, and he's going into the move phase. Moving some of his ghouls up onto that objective. Did we see where the primary objective went? Oh, so the primary objective has jumped to the opposite side of the table. So I may have lied to you earlier about where the objective could bump, because I thought it could only bump adjacent, but apparently it can bump all over the table. Yeah, so it can jump anywhere it pleases on the table. I was mistaken about that earlier in the game. So now the leftmost objective.
And that's 2 units, right?
2 separate units, 3 and 3.
Yep, okay.
He made up different colors.
Yeah, I can tell the difference.
And then he's going to move 12.
But Andre's ghouls have made a good play for the primary objective, clearing off those. So we'll see how he is able to hold that. And Andre is furiously attacking the back lines here. Really wants those spellcasters in the back lines. With that failed charge on that large blob of ghouls was just absolutely brutal. So now he's deciding which one of these minis each spellcasters needs to die most.
Okay, that's fine. Well, we know the answer.
Alright, I'm going to go check on some of these other games here in a moment while we're going around. We've got Night Haunts and Moonclane Grots going at it. Over here on the crypt table. It's looking good. Let's see how the Seraphon and Chaos Ascendant are going. Looks like they have crashed into each other in the center of the table here.
I have some ping cores.
So at the end of the round, I'll post some of the pictures of the armies and the games as they go.
Larry, can you check my cards for the Crypt Ghoul Courtier, the very bottom card? What's his movement?
So he has a 6-inch movement on the Crypt Ghoul Courtier.
But he can't then not fly.
I'll move him last.
But I thought I have the model for it. Nope, I don't have
You don't want to be out of here.
Oh wait, no, you have to do your damage first.
This is all of
That was just the regular damage for those. So yeah.
Okay.
Usually I'm not playing Blizzard, I got
Okay. Yeah, I just saved it.
Okay, now would be my turn.
Now you'll do four.
Movement trays and rocks are causing issues for our players here, so we're trying to get models across them.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
It wasn't, I know it wasn't over the bank.
Okay, so movement is done. Yeah.
So Andre has completed his movement, getting his ghouls into charge range, into easy charge range.
He's down here.
So he's hoping to tie up a lot of Frank's back line and get some of these guys tied down a little.
Charge phase.
So we got a 7-inch charge here in the center. There's not much space between these rocks. There are a lot of blue horrors in there, so his movement is going to be limited to where he can get all of his people in on this center objective.
I believe that's command ability. You'll see in your night spell. It'll be the very last column over here. If it's a command ability, yes, it's a command point. Okay, I will do mine. I think you're down to 0 right now, I believe. You tried to use 2.
So he did manage to get those 3 in. Now he's got an additional 3 there in a separate squad.
Only one save, but
We're going to charge the ghouls.
So now the ghouls in the back are charging.
Now they got a 9.
So now he's got his 9-inch charge that he desperately wanted last time. So this big old blob of ghouls, now that we've got them all prettily moved up on the rocks, now he gets to move them again.
now you can go back and choose to attack with those 3 lines. Then he'll attack with his 2 blade dice.
Can I put him or surround him like that, Jason? Even though I can't stand him up there?
Yeah, I'm going to let you say that. Look at my pink horse.
Yeah, go. You still have that. Yeah, with that here. Oh, wait. He had, I'm sorry, he had the -1 rent, so it would have been just normal attack. All but 1, because you had 1 too. Okay, now you hit. Okay. Where is it? No.
You get blue horror.
You got.
I love being bad on blue. Yeah, one pink becomes 2 blues, and then they become 2 blues.
One red comes in.
Still knows. I got them both.
Remember I was trying to change your spell?
Yeah, I swear it doesn't quite work that way. Let's check it.
I didn't do that. Can you still do it, or is it too late?
I'll try not to make it look like they but I can say, you gotta keep an eye on it.
You're telling me you're right. But I don't know the rules.
Okay, well,
These rules are so much easier.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 1, so you'll
well,
have 1 D.
yes, but then some of the strong pieces are still there.
All your charges.
So now that Andre has completed his charges, now he needs to decide where he wants to hit first. What is the most important combat to him?
Okay, we're going to attack.
And it looks like he's decided to go with his ghouls in the back.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
9. He's going to attack. We'll do this one first, and this at the same time, or what? We're gonna do vice versa.
We're gonna just swing on these guys first.
Okay.
And then we'll go here. You'll just swing finish up.
Okay, so we'll do the 27 attacks.
So he looks like he's got 9 ghouls on the sorcerer. That equals up to 27 attacks.
Because I get an extra attack roll.
So that's a good number of dice that he's going to be rolling against that pesky sorcerer.
-1, right?
Yep.
-1 to hit. So we'll make it a little more difficult.
5s and 4s. So we're roll this.
So he's hitting on 5s, wounding on 4s. He'll roll this attack 3 times. So got 1 so far, looks like. And added a couple, looks like 3 more on that roll.
With the 2 dudes, I still got them to hit.
So 8 hits.
Looks like he's got 8 hits go through. And then now he's going to wounds.
6 wounds.
Well, now it's
So 6 wounds.
you don't wound on turn because everything's fought.
You claim no
3
You
wounds.
don't care about
Or 4 wounds, sorry.
the morale.
So 4 go through, or 4 hit, wounds.
No.
No rend.
Yeah, so well, no, your bravery's 10, but you have to roll
I'll
it.
spend 1 on the past 1 of them. So I have 3 more.
So he's going to auto pass 1 with a fate die.
If you roll
So I get 3 with
higher,
So he does end up taking 3 of those 4. So that keeps him alive.
Am I going to turn on him? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11, so that'd be 33.
So he's got 11 going into his Lord of Change back there.
He's also a demon.
So 33 attacks, hitting on 5s, wounding on 4s.
so it has to happen where you're at right now.
And again, we're doing this 3 times, I believe.
I can still damage.
Well, that one, because he is, I wouldn't worry
He's
about
starting to stack up some serious hits here.
because unless you were to try to cast it with,
Can I Mystic Shield my Mongol?
It's a lot better than last time.
that way you'll be having a 4 up save, reroll in 1.
Alright, now forced to wound.
I don't think that's a bad thought.
So deals 4 out of all those. So his 4 up save, rerolling 1s. So 2 ended up going through.
Remember, you're getting about $25 in your pocket that comes back. Even if you're being ruthlessly aggressive and just frown, just smile and
Alright,
go
that
back.
attack is done.
Alright, I'm going to go ahead and swing with these guys.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, still, it's officially your objective anyway, because you had claimed it. Until he steals it back.
So it looks like the last of the pinks and the blues are going to consolidate in and go to work in the center.
And he gets this, right? And these guys will have dragons?
So it looks like he's going to do 10 attacks against the group of courtiers.
They can just stay right there and just wait.
Looking for 4s.
Actually, that's pretty good. So that's 5. That's pretty good against those guys.
So 5 wounds to the courtier. So it's that was a pretty effective attack roll.
Any rend?
For no rend, so 5 up saves.
Then I get feel no pain.
And then he's got his feel no pain.
Nothing.
So no wounds go through. That was a very good.
2 dragon.
How many wounds?
2.
So 2 wounds go in against the dragon. Again, no rend. So he gets his 4 up save. And then his feel no pain.
So 1 wound.
So 1 wound does go through on the dragon.
Okay.
I can't think about it. My fire player's not much worse.
We're going to do the ghouls. So 20 attacks.
So now Andre's ghouls are going to take on those brimstones.
So 5s and 4s.
on the all-important primary objective.
-1 to hit.
PW has like
So
Wounds. Yes, 5.
so 5 wounds on them.
you had the offsetting fire slayers to help offset them, and then you had some
It looks like 5 dead ones. So the last of the blues are getting taken out. Brimstones are being put in.
Because of him, they will actually get 3 attacks. Because of his
So it's
This one will have to die because it's Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4.
How many wounds do you have? 1. They're not very strong. Like they're literally like glass cans. They do all sorts of damage.
So I have 20 attacks on them, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
12 on the
So he's splitting his attacks up a little bit, just because of the way he has to consolidate. But he's got a bunch of attacks against the ghouls, which looks like he's going first. I believe he said 20 attacks, so quite a few.
1 against the ghoul for the first half.
They reroll 1.
2.
Roll that clockwork again.
So it looks like he gets 2 through, or 3. And it appears that Andre saves all 3.
Gosh darn it.
I didn't think so.
Nope, so 3 do come off. So 3 ghouls are down.
Here's the dragon. You got 12 attacks.
So 12 attacks now against the dragon. So 4. Andre gets his saves. Looks like 2. He's got a Mystic Shield to reroll a 1. And he's got a Feel No Pain for the one that does go through.
Okay. My turn.
He's not going to be. Well, I made my charge.
this is all even happening with war combat.
We're gonna attack over here.
Zach's going to go back. I'm
But you have no more attacks, except for this one.
So it looks like the dragon's going to go ahead and knock out some brimstones.
5s and 4s? Or 5s and 3s? Rerolling this one?
The knowledge
Yeah, I'm not.
So 12 mortal wounds right off the top.
So we start this round off with 12 mortal wounds again. So that is a lot of brimstones out. But it looks like that's all the dragon is going to be able to do as the brimstones disappear from in front of the dragon.
25 wounds you got saved for. Brandon, or Brian, 25 wounds.
Well, that freezes dragon.
Yep.
He will explode.
I'm going to assume that you're going to kill them.
Oh yeah.
He's going to explode.
Just going to go ahead and turn.
So as a gentlemanly move to not make Andre roll a bunch of dice, the rest of the brimstones have been removed, and the dragon is now free.
12, right?
Yes.
He's
13. Yes.
Alright, so 3. You have to save on 3.
Okay. It's your turn.
Yeah, mine.
Fate Weaver? No. He's not Fate Weaver.
I'm sorry, a lot of ghouls are still gonna.
So now we got the Fate Weaver on the back there is going
As long
to
as I kill one, he did his job.
are going to go into those ghouls.
So his beaks and claws.
Oh, we do.
If I on 4. And wound on 3. So 1. 1.
So we've got
Does 2 damage? Well, I get filled with 2 die.
so there's 2 dead ghouls from Beaks and Claws.
And 3 attacks from the staff tomorrow.
Now his staff gets a hit,
1 wound. This is make 1 round.
and his staff gets a wound.
2 more die.
So 2 more dead ghouls from the staff.
You're fixed now?
I'm down. Yeah.
You're done with everything? So I'm just looking at
Yeah.
Did you?
Because they attack first.
So he missed the change there. Oh, that's a. He missed his work.
Okay.
Could have done a lot of damage to you, but.
So the done and done, right?
Yep.
So now the dragons go into the center to hopefully knock out some more of those horrors that are in the middle.
No, you
Have to do it at your pace. I have 2 commanders. But I have 3. No. We're going to attack here. 5 attacks with them all. No, 5 to random.
remember me one of the.
Yep.
So no hits with the big dragon in the middle on the first attack.
Where he counts and spends, we do 4s and 3s.
So hitting on 4s, wounding on 3s.
-1.
So 1 goes through.
Yeah.
-1, so how much damage?
Just 1.
Oh, and his 6 I feel no pain comes in. So
Pause. Both go through it, -1. Yes, they have no armor save, right?
They have 1 plus. They have a 6 up on the save.
So go ahead, armor save. -1.
Good.
wow, 2 6s to save those attacks. So Andre is spending a command point to fight again, since the dragon didn't do near as much as he had hoped.
It's okay, you're still winning by points, people.
One goes through -1.
And as the players just discussed here, even though Andre is having a rough time killing, he is still working up on points here. Because again, Andre is in control of the primary objective as it jumped. So, while this may...
I still got the court case for this too. I needed my dragon to kind of go.
Yeah, so Andre's having trouble in the middle of the table, but the flanks seem to be being controlled. So hopefully holding onto that primary objective for 2 turns may give him enough of a lead to maintain, even if he does not get the killing done. And keep in mind that those ghouls are still in the backfield, so he cannot dedicate all of his Zeech forces to the middle of the table while those ghouls are still alive. It would be silly just to leave them unattended back there, because while they're not crazy dangerous, they're still attacks.
We'll attack in here. 12 attacks.
-1 still.
So 5
So now the Crypt Flayers are attacking.
3 go through, -1, 1 wound apiece.
So it looks like 3 attacks go through at -1. So that's 3 dead blues and 3 spawned brimstones.
That's it for Josh, you have anything? No? Okay, so I get 4 victory points.
So Andre racks up 4 victory points,
So they pass.
and we move to the bottom of the turn.
Alright.
This is where I
That's what you're going to want to do next. Well, even if they are, that wouldn't worry too much about it. They can die anywhere out there, and then they can die anywhere on the battlefield. You're not going to be about it because if they die way over there, you're
first of all, we gotta see if I generate any other fan points.
as long as you do, but if they're holding
Go to
3.
3 points. I'm going to one from the Sunday school right here.
Okay.
you know, let's say you lose 10 of these,
So you
you're
get
probably
10
going to
plus
lose
1
another 6.
from Sunday school.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to spend 1 from his ability. Takes me down to 1 command point left.
So there we are, folks.
So he gets plus
I'll update the scores at the end of the battle round,
I'm going to declare my.
but we are now at the bottom of round 2. Frank and his Zeech change host are going to go into their hero phase.
That's an ability from my Venus Codex.
That's fine.
Firebolt. Okay, I can no longer summon, so I'm going to go ahead and immediately go to the spells. How many wounds you got a piece?
4 apiece.
4 pieces. We're going to go ahead and start with casting Boon from Peculiar. Here's the 9. I'm going to risk it. He's going to actually cut.
So now Andre has denies in range.
Automatically cast it on the 2 up. It goes off. So Boon goes off.
Is that a spell or
It's a spell that he automatically can cast and it cannot be denied. That's his ability. You can look at it.
No, don't worry about it. It's all good.
Now, Fate Weaver is going to go ahead and cast Gift of Change.
Do I have a chance?
Yes, you do. To them. And he'll have +2 to cast from this one. 1 from his ability. The command trait and his command trait. So it goes off into 14. Because it takes a double, so it goes 6 to 12, and then gets +2 to cast. That's 14.
So with a casting of 14 for the Zeech, it is not unbindable.
6 mortal wounds to them.
That deals 6 mortal wounds to his crypt flayers, so that is rough. So they got their feel no pains still.
There's a spell, but
So it looks like he saves a couple, but that still removes a flare.
And he automatically deploys within 3 inches.
So,
Custom cast.
because with Gift of Change, now when he kills one, he gets to summon in a Chaos Spawn on the spot. So that's another rough move on the center objective there. But keep in mind that the primary is still on the left side of your table, so
He is going to cast.
that center point is only worth 1 point.
The dragon right there.
So,
These guys have three wounds apiece.
This dragon.
so Zeech's Firestorm is going down.
And if he kills anything, he can 80. He kills 80.
that's why when you play with 2 of these guys, don't have to
On the leftmost dragon.
because you see what this is doing.
Goes off on a 15.
So again, with a casting cost of 14, he cannot deny it or unbind it. So now that Andre finally has his casters in range to unbind, the Zeech is lighting it up with these high cast rolls.
It's 6, you take D3 mortal wounds.
So 6 has caused D3 mortal wounds. So it looks like he's taking 3D3.
That's 5. 6 mortal wounds to the dragon.
So 6 mortal wounds to the dragon. He gets feel no pains. And looks like he doesn't save any of them, so he goes from 12 to 6 wounds remaining. So that's a solid hit there.
And his last spell he'll cast. Pendulum.
So now the Fate Weaver is casting the Pendulum. This is one of those cool spells that has a model that goes with it.
6 to go. 6 in the first.
You get bonuses for the line?
It's fine if I actually want to cast one. If it will hit you. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and cast it from here.
The more models there are, the more that area.
So the changeling's going to cast the pendulum.
Okay, so the changeling is actually going to cast the pendulum here.
I'll reroll a boon.
And he doesn't get it, so he's going to re-roll it with his boon.
9.
So a 9.
Changeling.
So we actually get a chance at denial. It does not. So the pendulum does come down. I apologize, I don't exactly know what the pendulum does. Well, it looks like it is going to come down and move. It looks like he is attempting to move it across some people here.
Other side. Okay. So D6 mortal wounds to this squad.
So it looks like it does D6 mortal wounds to the squad it moved across. So 6 mortal wounds to the Crypt Flayers as the pendulum moves across them. This is
You hit me hard.
so we are another Crypt Flayer down and a wounded one.
Right. D6
down 1 wound.
So 3 on them.
And 3 more mortal wounds to the squad behind. Feel no pains, don't go through again, so that's going to be bringing a Crypt Flayer down to 1 wound.
And D6 to the guy.
And the dragon takes 1 mortal wound, so that's not so bad. Hopefully his Feel No Pain can take that. It does not, so he's down to 12 wounds there on the dragon in the center. Zeech really wants the center objective.
No, I just want my spells on.
Yeah, that's where all his power is at the moment anyway. There is some kind of strange warp nexus there in the middle that is causing 2 casting rolls of 14 that it became unbindable, and now the pendulum coming down.
Goes off on 12.
He's going to try a 12? I'm going to try to deny with 10.
I mean, he's got to try to roll on a 12. Oh, opposite of boxcars. He rolls snake eyes. So he's going to bring down the purple sun behind his ghouls. So there's 36 ghouls there. I imagine he gets to roll dice for each of them and then do mortal wounds when they come in.
Remove models. So I roll this 3 times. So every 6 you remove a model.
So every 6 is a removed model with the purple sun.
2. Not roll as good as you. 3, 4.
So 4 ghouls are down because of the purple sun summoning in behind him.
He is going to cast the cheese dick power.
So we.
Go ahead and spend 2 fate dice for this.
So he's going to go ahead and spend his face dice.
So it goes off then on 12. 5 and 6. So +1.
So he's going to spend his fate dice to auto cast it on a 12. Which brings this in.
So the way this thing works is it does D3 plus 1 for every sorcerer within 12 inches of it.
So D3 plus 1 mortal wounds for every sorcerer.
He's a sorcerer, right? D3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 5 plus D3.
So 5 plus D3 mortal wounds
So
for
that is
1, so 6 mortal
6
wounds.
mortal wounds. So 6 on him, 6 on them, 6 on him.
So 6 to everybody around it. That,
No, it didn't fly over him. Yep.
so that is 2 dead there, and a wounded one. The dragon is now going to take his. Feel no pains against it. He takes 4.
Fate Weaver's going to use his once per turn ability to eat a spell.
And so now that spell has been reabsorbed by the Fate Weaver.
He's going to cast Infernal Flames on them.
Now Infernal Flames against the ghouls in the back.
Goes off on 11.
So that goes off on an 11. I don't think he has any unbinds left.
Oh, I do, but he gets too far.
It's, yeah, oh, his last unbind is clear in the back, so.
So there's still, there's at least 30 of them there still, right? Mm-hmm. 5 of them take mortal wounds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So that's 5 mortal wounds so far to the ghouls.
6, 7.
And then well, then we're going to go lunch or whatever. 12, 10, 15, and
8 mortal wounds on there.
Cool, taking it off.
Did you see my picture?
order something, I'll pay for it. If you want to pay for all,
From the back.
we can have rookie sit here for you guys, and I'll pay for it. You're good.
Changeling's going to go and cast Treason on them.
Oh, now you get to throw the master to get
Goes off with a 10.
that was your brother can play.
D3 mortal wounds.
Hopefully.
1 mortal wound.
Makes it! Yay!
Not good. He's going to again cast Arcane Suggestion on him. Needs an 8 to go off.
Looks like he's going to make a magical suggestion to his dragon over here.
Fails. Fails. He's not within the bonus of 10.
So that doesn't go off. So it looks like his was a bad suggestion.
It was a bad suggestion.
Getting with it, if going into combat, I would use it for that. Outside of that, not a lot. I mean,
Shield on himself.
right now, you know, if you can have
So that sorcerer over here on the left has got Mystic Shield.
Balewind Vortex on.
Balewind Vortex is now being cast.
he almost kills you outright, so on mortal wounds. Still 7 mortal wounds, and he has a chance to do the
So he is in range for a deny.
7.
So a 7 to unbind.
7 doesn't happen, or does happen. I don't know about it.
So he doesn't unbind it. So he is now on a Balewind Vortex.
One guy is down to 1 wound, and then you've got 4 more. I would recommend leaving that guy pulling these 4 because
So Bolt of Zeech.
Goes off on 11.
So it goes off.
He's casting it?
Yep.
Yes, one more.
So it goes off with an 11. He's going to attempt to unbind it. It does not.
Take 3 mortal wounds on your dragon.
So 3 more mortal wounds on the dragon in the middle.
No, not yet. Now you guys will roll to see who goes first. Now you have the initiative.
So he's down to 5 wounds there in the middle. It's been a rough turn for that poor dragon in the middle, as each hammers on him with spells.
Oh, Lord, Greg! Stop talking about him.
Imperial Gateway onto your dragon. I guess I cast it in.
You may have heard in the background our 40K tournament runner, Greg, has just showed up. Come supervise the tournament proceedings. So I didn't get a chance to watch. So we got 2 more mortal wounds going into the dragon there in the middle. And he does die, but he does deal 2 mortal wounds in return, taking a couple of brimstones off the table. So we're coming up on 10:30, so we got an hour left in this round, so we got just a little over an hour remaining. So again, more power moves in the middle here as we move in out of his hero phase and into the movement. We got the Lord of Change moving up into the middle. We got the pink horrors going for the right-hand objective. Oh wait, no they're not. They're engaged in combat, so they cannot leave over
If
there.
you fall out of combat, can you still shoot?
Brian, if you fall out of combat, can you still shoot?
No, so he does not want to follow them out of combat because they cannot make it to the objective, and then he can't shoot, so they would...
Run out of combat.
You can move and run out of combat to get across the board. You just wouldn't be able to shoot with them.
So...
You can retreat and then run as part of that retreat.
Alright, the pink horrors are coming out of the lava castle in the middle here. Try to see if they can get rid of either a dragon or some ghouls over there. Probably the ghouls, since they are on the objective, and that is still the primary objective. So 3 points worth of objective. So, and remember, Andre has the lead right now, so he has held the primary objective 2 turns in a row. So, Zeech needs to make up some ground here as we move into the middle turns.
Well, now, actually, before you move, don't forget, you have one spell that you can cast. Who cast this spell? That was him.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's using his bow. It's bow.
Well, I mean, I just did, because if
Alright, so now we're moving into Zeech's shooting phase. So, shooting into the ghouls in the back there.
-1 for shoot range.
Yes.
Yeah, so they need 5s and 4s to hit over there.
3 hits from the first.
Because the ghouls are -1 to hit.
7 and 1 more. 11.
So 6 go through on the ghouls.
Take 4.
So 4 die.
He's going to shoot his beam attack. He fell in combat, he can't shoot.
He's not in combat with him.
Alright. Can't shoot because he fell in combat. He's going to shoot his beam attack at him. Hits.
So the dragon on the left side is being shot at with a beam.
Until he steals them back from you.
Wounds. This is your range.
Over here you won't have to worry about.
This one wound?
D3 damage. And no range.
It doesn't save it, it's D3 damage.
The 3 damage.
3 damage. So he takes 3 more wounds, bringing him down to 5 wounds.
No, sorry,
4 wounds, I am mistaken.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 times 3.
I tell you what, if he knocks out that dragon, the game's over.
So the pink horrors have 24 attacks going into the dragon.
Roll 3 times.
So
Do I have -1 to hit him?
No, you do not, really.
Only 2 hits.
Being that you roll high enough, you can pull you off.
7. 11.
so 11 hits.
So basically, it would have been these two coming across.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wounds on him.
So 5 wounds to the dragon. He gets his save and he gets his feel no pain. So he takes 1 wound. So that takes him down to 3 wounds. So the dragon is injured.
Shoot all these guys at him.
And so now we have
If he kills it, I've got to concede it. I don't have enough resources. That's why I'm right there.
They don't really have that.
3 times.
They charge 1 unit. So basically, all you want to do is
Hit on 5 zones out and you get the skull up for him. 2 hits.
one of the top some of them out. So you get back here.
5.
so the pink horrors are shooting at the dragon now with
So 8.
so he's got 8 more hits.
No range.
So with his save and his feel no pain,
He's going to survive. With 2 wounds left.
he's going to survive with 2 wounds remaining.
And then the other one can go.
Did he get the... No, he did not get the vigor, so he is not acting at full strength.
Yeah,
I'm going to
So
go ahead and declare charges. The first unit of pink horrors is going to charge.
So now the horrors are charging. So this first unit is going to end up in combat with the dragon and the ghouls. Mostly the dragon.
Second one's going to charge.
And the back row of pink horrors is going to charge, looks like mostly the ghouls. But they didn't get a very good charge roll, so now he's deciding whether he wants to use some fate dice or whether he's got any abilities that allow him to re-roll.
You can't use fate dice once I roll it.
Oh, okay.
I can spend my last command point for it.
But he does have a command point that he can use if he wants to, and he does want to use it. So he's going to re-roll,
12.
and he rolls a 12 with his re-roll. That never seems to happen to me when I roll re-rolls. Re-rolls always roll worse or equal to what I did. But that is going to be that squad of pink horrors into the ghouls. So we got 2 squads of pink horrors in over there.
He is going to go ahead and declare charge.
Looks like Lord Change in the middle there is going to do a 7-inch charge into the crypt players, I imagine. He may... Oh, no, he's going to jump and try to charge the dragon on this side. No, he's just going to hop over and charge the crypt player over on that side.
He's going to charge him.
Now the Chaos Spawn has charged that crypt player.
Alright.
Finish this one first, because I'm going to tell you right now, he dies, the game is over.
Alright, so 10 attacks.
So he's got 10 attacks going into this, and this is going to be the game, folks. If Andre has said he will probably end up conceding this game if that dragon dies.
You know what? Blue scribes are going to charge too.
And so...
No, yeah, I'm just going to leave that.
Alright, so just the pink horrors here. This dragon has 1 wound remaining. 2 wounds remaining. So these... So 4 go through for the pink horrors. So he gets his save, he gets his feel no pain. And the dragon dies. So Andres conceded the game. So even though he was ahead on points for this round, within the next couple rounds, Andre would have next to nothing left on the board, and then the points would just rack up for Zeech on that side. So a couple unfortunate charges, some very good psychic rolls, or casting rolls for spell casting for Zeech. So the game had a lot of back and forth moments. It was a very good game. We enjoyed watching it. I hope you guys did.
The thing is,
And the fact you didn't manage to kill him,
yeah, I would have killed him.
because I wouldn't be able to drop that, the dick.
The pendulum and all
Not,
that
yeah, well, I better not finish, but I wouldn't be able to drop this, because only he can cast this.
Yeah, so
These two can cast it. And that did, 7 mortal wounds to Aubrey over there.
yeah, the players are discussing the swinging moments of the game. If Andre's ghouls in the back had gone in and disrupted those sorcerers more, he wouldn't have been able to get all those spells off in the middle, and that would have changed the combat.
It's hard getting spells off against him.
He wasn't getting any of his spells off, and that was killing Andre there, because his dragons can get much more powerful than they were with the proper spells on them. But Zeech is able to unbind almost anything you throw at them. So, like I said, lots of back and forth moments in this game, but sadly, Andre just had to concede at the bottom of 2.